Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Laugh Napkin, where we read stories from Reddit. Today's going to be episode 1 of r/Am I the A-hole? Let me know what you guys think about this subreddit, and let's get right into it. Am I the a-hole for getting a teacher fired when she wouldn't let my daughter eat in class? I'm a 47-year-old female, and my daughter, a 13-year-old female, is a type 1 diabetic and sometimes hypoglycemic. Due to this, we set up a 504 that says she can eat a snack in class whenever needed, along with other accommodations. Anyway, at one point, one of her teachers, who's apparently a new teacher, denies her a snack while hypoglycemic. She nearly passes out, but in the next class she's in, the teacher has enough common sense to let her eat a snack before passing out at school. When she told me, I immediately called the teacher. When she called back, I lectured her and told her that she needed to let my daughter eat a snack when needed. She says snacks aren't allowed in class, but I tell her that due to my daughter's 504, she is legally required to give my daughter an exception to that rule, and recommended she give it another read. Before hanging up, I tell her that if she does it again, I will contact the principal and let him know. I recorded this call on my husband's phone, by the way. A month goes by and the same thing happens again. I request a meeting with the principal, and my husband plays back the call between me and the teacher. I tell him she has done this twice and he needs to have a talk with her. Turns out he actually fired her for ADA violations. How do I know? I ran into her at Publix. She told me that it's my fault I got her fired over some stupid snacks, and I need to stop raising an entitled brat. Instead of arguing back, I just walked away. Was I really the a-hole? Did I actually go too far? So I'm going to say that OP's not the a-hole here. It's pretty obvious that the teacher's the a-hole here. She obviously does not care about her students. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's move on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for giving my dad an ultimatum? About a year ago, my dad approached me and told me that he, my stepmom, and my 2 half-brothers were thinking about moving to a new state. I had 50-50 custody with him and asked him what it meant for me. He said that he would pay for me to come for every school break and every other holiday. I was mad at him and told him that he already gets to spend all his time with my brothers and doesn't want that with me, and it was difficult for me with 50-50. And now he wanted to move and really leave me? He told me he didn't want to leave me, and I told him that if he moved, I would refuse to see him because he would be showing I was worthless to him. I told him if he forced me to come and didn't respect my wishes, I would make life hell for him and his wife. Anyways, it's been about 10 months, and my mom made me visit him once, and it sucked. I had to sleep on the couch. I refused to go back, and my dad texts and calls me every single day, and I do not respond. My stepmom recently called me, screaming, and said I was breaking my dad's heart and was a cruel daughter. I told her she was overstepping my boundary and to never contact me again. I think my dad deserves this, and I was very clear with my intentions if he moved. My mom said I was being too hard on him and my stepmom. Edit. I can't make him want to see me. I told him I'd come, but I'm never going to spend the full holidays with him because I'd rather have the good moments with my mom, because she's the one who actually stuck around to take care of me. I told him that I will not budge on seeing his wife and that when I come, I want to stay in a hotel. I told him that he doesn't have to visit me, come for my surgeries. Told him that I don't want to talk to him, though I will be in contact with him when I visit, / if he ever comes to see me. Am I the a-hole? So I'm going to say OP's not the a-hole again, mostly because who would move away, and why wouldn't the father have a bedroom for his daughter to sleep in when she comes to visit? That's a little weird if you ask me. He should have a room for her. So it sounds like he's the a-hole here. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let's move on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling someone it's not my fault they don't understand that other languages exist? I'm an 18-year-old female and I'm from Germany and did an exchange year in the US. I'm back home now and was FaceTiming an American friend while hanging out with my German friends. The friend had his girlfriend over. I don't know her very well. They started dating after I already left the US, but she always seemed nice. Anyway, one of my friends called me a digger while talking to me. That term comes from the friend dicker, which roughly translates to the fat one. But in German, you say you're dick with someone if you're close to them. So it's basically the German term for buddy. My friend's girlfriend said, "Excuse me?" I don't know what she meant because we were mid-conversation and we use digger a lot here. It didn't even occur to me that that's what her problem was. I was a little confused, and she said that she didn't think she heard me correctly, but it sounded like someone said the N-word. Oh yeah, then it hit me. I explained to her that we didn't, and that there's a German word that is admittedly similar to the N-word, but it's not related to it in any other way. She was upset and told me that it's not an excuse and it sounds like the N-word, therefore we should not be using it. My American friend as well as my German friends were all quiet. My German friend laughed a little in a what the F kind of way. I told her that it's not a big deal. She said it was, and it's really inappropriate and insulting. She's white. We all are, by the way. So I said it's not my fault she doesn't understand English is in fact not the only language existing, and that not everything is centered around America. She said, "Oh, wow," leaned back and got under her phone, grinning and ignoring us. So my friend quickly said bye and hung up. My German friends think it's really funny, but my American friend texted me and said I need to be more careful because the N-word has a very strong meaning in the US, and digga is so similar to it. And that as someone who lived in the US for a while, I need to accommodate to its customs. He is also mad because I insulted his girlfriend, although I don't feel I did. I'm wondering though if I'm wrong about the word. Maybe I am the a-hole here. You know, it sounds like OP's friend and his girlfriend are the a-hole here. I think they should have been a little more open-minded. Because honestly, if I had a German friend and they said that word, I'd be curious what it meant. I wouldn't be criticizing him over it because it sounds like a bad American word. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's move on to the last and final story. Scratch that, we got 2 more stories left. Am I the a-hole for withdrawing support over a meal? Once a year, not last, my family goes to a fancy restaurant, like a place where steaks are $45 plus and sides a la carte. It's a fun treat for us kids at least, as our parents pay. We all catch up and we get to try places we never can afford yet ourselves. So 2019 when we went, my parents invited my fiance's mom as we were newly engaged and she hasn't met everyone. When invited, his mom expressed she can't afford it, and I told her it's fine because my parents are paying, it's a treat for everyone. We knew that anyway because we've been helping recently. I left absolutely disgusted with his mom. She got 4 whiskey sours, red wine, Coke, and the most expensive steak, added shrimp and lobster, then got 3 sides and dessert. Her bill alone was just over $500. Meanwhile, the single highest bill for the other 7 people was $82. My parents bit the cost and asked me not to complain, and they don't want to start anything. BF was equally mad and talked to her. She tried to say that since they picked the restaurant, they can afford it, so it wasn't a big deal, when it was explained that this was a once-a-year thing before. Well, this year my mom invited her again despite my no, but not so subtlety added a cap to the price point. Well, 20 minutes or so into the dinner, boyfriend's sister and son show up unexpectedly, which pisses me off. But she asked for her own check, so at least she wasn't coming for a free meal. Or so she thought. Her card denied. His mom claimed to not bring her wallet. Boyfriend immediately asked for her check, but my dad being my dad went ahead and paid it. Walking out, his sister jokingly asked where we're going next year. His mom said it was just a joke, calm down. So I canceled the scheduled payment to help pay her a quarter of her rent. It was the same as the meal, so I told her daughter can pay it or she can. Boyfriend is being harassed by them now. Am I the a-hole? Wow, OP is definitely not the a-hole here. Honestly, the mother-in-law and sister-in-law should be ashamed of themselves. That's some entitled shit right there. Oh, it makes me disgusted. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's move on to the next story. The last and final story. Am I the a-hole for letting a teenage boy spend the night in jail before dropping the charges? Hello, Reddit. So I feel like I'm always posting here, and here's my latest ask. When I moved cities a few months ago, I rented an apartment on a monthly contract while looking for another one to buy. A couple months in, the owner told me that she'll be putting it on the market, so she'll be needing my schedule to arrange showings. I offered to buy it, and not even 2 weeks later, I was the owner of my own apartment. I live in the 2nd floor. The 1st floor is owned by a family, father, mother, and 2 teen boys. The ground floor is 2 garages for cars, 1 for each owner. And finally, the roof is split into 2 roofs with an 8-foot wall and separate doors off of the landing. When I bought my house, I wanted to redo the kitchen and bathroom, so I took some cookies and knocked on my neighbor's house and asked for their schedule. I didn't want to do the work while they were at home to avoid bothering them. That day I was in the balcony and heard the husband complaining about me buying the apartment. Apparently they were planning to do so, but I beat them to it. Now fast forward a couple of months. I have turned my roof into a garden with raised beds for my veggies, pots for flowers, some garden furniture, and an area with some wooden outside tiles. While coming out one day, I met my neighbor, and she asked to see the garden with her sons. I showed it off and thought it was the end of it. That is until I started noticing how some of my flowers were cut, the furniture was moved, etc. So I installed a camera and saw that her sons jump over the dividing wall along with some friends and spend their time there. I told the parents and asked them to tell their kids to stop, that most of the time I'm not home, and if something happened there's no way to open the door to help them, metal door with a huge padlock. They said okay, but the kids continued to do so. They even started destroying my plants for telling on them. So I gave their mother an ultimatum. They either stop or I'll be calling the police. She scoffed and called me an entitled bitch. The next time I got an alert on my phone, I called the cops and said someone broke into my rooftop garden. They came pretty fast and only one kid managed to escape. The other one was caught red-handed and taken to the precinct. Their father almost broke my door and started screaming at me to come and drop the charges. I just threatened to call the police on him as well and went to bed. This morning I went to the precinct and dropped the charges, so he spent the night in jail with, according to his mom, drug dealers and thugs. I was so sure of my decision that I was teaching him the consequences of his actions, but my mom said that I was too harsh. She said that I punished the parents, not that I taught the kid a lesson. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Once again, you are not the a-hole, OP. Those kids need to learn some way or another. And honestly, if they do it again, I wouldn't even drop the charges. I would keep the charges and let them see the real consequences of their actions. But as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And that brings us to the end of our video. I hope you guys enjoyed r/am I the a-hole. Let me know if you want more of it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.